Hi, chat. Look, I have the ID card for Stilton. Interestingly, his photo just updates all the time. He is a feral sausage. It's exactly how I like it. Stickers? Yo, a bum. Oh my god, so many stickers. I don't like having things say new. Oh, this is the new room we made that I couldn't really be bothered to deal with. I don't know where all this new stuff came from. Oh, it's the friendly shark plush. Yo, a smoothie. Right, let's make some puzzle. Puzzle time. Oh, apparently Alonso's got a hot bum. Which is probably true anyway. Well, this is going quite well. What else am I trying to do here? This. Hi, Geb, look at all those bongos. Yo, we do be loving the bongos. I am watching, well, I'm listening to coverage of the Austrian Grand Prix, which is the place where my favourite Geber is from. We do like them bongos. F1 dies of cringe. It's nice background noise. Poor Gab. You like the British guy though? Oh yeah, the one that kind of looks like a supermodel. Yeah. Yeah. That one definitely goes there. Like, I'm not even about to quibble over the state of the puzzle at this point. He did Gab in Canada. What do they say about pretty boys, Gab? I don't remember what people say about pretty boys. I don't know. Pretty boys finish first. Is that how it works? I just made that up. Of course I did. I can't meme, you know that. Why did you think I could make up stuff? Whee! Yo, a table. Easy clap on the table. Stolen cardboard. Why is there a gap? Why wouldn't there be a gap with it? You know what I mean. Why wouldn't there be a rodent with orange on his neck and a Fruit Loop on his head? Hi, Kate Sears. Thank you for the 10-month resub. 10 months in a row. Enjoy your bongos and your butts. And all of the other things that you enjoy. Yes, that is the most important emote of them all, Kate says.
Oh my goodness me, what is happening there? Antonelli locks up, spins Verstappen around. I don't know if Verstappen's got a puncture or something, but Antonelli locked up going to turn number 3 and has compromised his race. We've got the safety car out, the full safety car is deployed. Line 1-2 Ferrari.
My favourite part of the Grand Prix chat, Verstappen's out. That's the best part. Yo, look at this multicoloured cardboard.
So he's not taking part. But I would have thought Verstappen might have been able to get going. He only got spun around. I guess his race is making damage. They haven't shown us a shot of it yet. But Verstappen is out. And so is Antonelli. Safety car deployed.
Well, I guess Verstappen's not getting any penalty points. It's the best part of any Grand Prix, is having a smuggety smug not doing that well. What are we doing? This is quite an easy one for a bonus level. Yo, we could get Geb. We could get a different coloured orange slice now. You get a blood orange, a lemon. I think it's just those two. I mean, one of them is a blood orange. One of them is definitely not an orange. I think that's the thing about these puzzles, Geb. Sometimes they don't really look like the things they're supposed to look like. And that's kind of just how it goes. Yo, Foka. Foka, thank you for the tier 2 resub. 54 months. That's a big number. You know, I know all about big numbers. 5.5 years? Have I really been streaming that long? No, I've only been streaming 18 minutes. Oh, phew. Yeah. That's a bit more relaxing. Silly Gab. Can't do maths. Maths is for nerds. Don't you know it, Geb? Cool. I just like the terrifying shriek of completion. Like, that would be the kind of thing that if I could be bothered to make more Twitch alerts, just one of the alerts would just be that rat shrieking. That would be my Twitch alert. You don't like that rat? Oh no. Why don't you like him, Geb? Geb is rodentist.
to Verstappen. There was no fault in Verstappen, and they're both out of the race. Carlos Sainz had engine issues before the race even begun, and he did not take part.
It roots against you.
Oscar Piastri now still within DRS range of his teammate. There's
Also, it wastes food.
depending on how well he can hold on to his tyres. If he can stay within a 1-2 second gap of Lando Norris, Piastri can come over the radio, he can take initiative and say, I want to come into the pit.
But it's so cute.
They'll went to Lando Norris to the side. He'll also be thinking about this, and this is a sign of the best drivers. Then
Not really.
driving the best possible racing, driving.
Keb is a meanie, you guys.
What is the best strategy here? What can I do to make sure that I stay ahead of all of the drivers? And we'll see if Lando Norris is thinking about that. We haven't seen this previously from him.
Keb's so mean.
But now, this battle, it's not going to happen out on track. It's going to happen in the pit lane, and Lando Norris has got to be switched on. And we're here on lap number 9. Leclerc is 3 seconds back from Oscar Piastri, so yeah, they've got a pretty healthy pace advantage having the fans. Charles Leclerc with the upgraded Ferrari, with a brand new floor, their performance has improved, they're a lot quicker, but it's still nothing compared to the fans. And the fans are just constantly cruising out in front. Well, I can't really say cruising. Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri pushing each other pretty hard. Piastri with the assistance of DRS is staying on the back of his teammates. We have
Somebody had to say it. Oh no.
turn number 2. Gasly doesn't have DRS on that occasion. Albon
Chat being heckin' savage.
and Albon to sit Gasly. Those soft tyres, sorry, Gasly, they're going to start wearing out ASAP. They can only lose 5 laps. In fact, last year, most amount of laps anyone did on the soft tyres was 3 laps of racing. So Gasly has already done 4 times that, and his tyres are feeling good, feeling elite, and he's going to have to come to the pit sooner rather than later. Well, fast lap of the race again from Oscar Piastri. He was ever so slightly quicker than Lando Norris, and this might be a shot actually to closer than we've ever been on the exit turn number 1. Open to DRS back, tucks into the century. It's also a question of overtaking now.
Yo, Millennial Falcon, thank you for the 36-month resub. 36 in a row. Hilariously, my activity feed says 27 months. And subscribe for 36. And then chat be like, yep, 36 in a row. I think Twitch is confused. Yo, chat, look at this smoothie. It's got banana and blueberry and kiwi and strawberry and banana. I wish you could actually rotate this screen and actually look at the item and zoom in and stuff.
Tries to get the switch back, and he does so. It's a drag race between the two McLarens. The Mercedes having it screaming away. However, Norris has the DRS going into turn number 4. Can he hold it down the inside? Is he going to lock up? He holds it absolutely perfectly. Piastri has a little lock up, and on the exit of turn number 4 is Lando Norris in first place. Oscar Piastri in second. Piastri looks to the inside through turn number 6. This would be an incredible move if he could.
I don't know if you guys can actually hear the tablet at the moment. Just tell me if you can and I'll turn it down. I don't want Twitch DMCAing me over following Formula 1. We'll go there and 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 there. And there, and there, and there, and there, and there. Not there. And there, and there, and there, and there, and there. And there, and there, and there, and there. You can hear it? Oh god. Well, rooting for Lando. I'm rooting for everyone who isn't Verstappen. That's just how I think it should be. You root for anyone who isn't basically an arrogant prick. And to be honest, I feel like there are some people out there who would agree with me. Isn't there talk of Verstappen moving to... Yep. And I would not care. Oh, it's orange and it's teal and it's purpley and it's peachy and it's greeny and it's purpley and it's peachy. Egg. Moving on to some easy puzzles. There. There. Yeah, I think it's weird that a customer team is doing better than the main team. But I guess it shows you that you don't really need to make your own engine to design a good car. Yo, it's a planet. But I do also feel like Mercedes struggled so much last season that that's probably why they're not doing as well this season. Also, if you need me to explain any of the logic that's going on in this, you tell me, because it's a lot of effort to explain Picross logic where you find it quite simple. So I don't think I could do any of that, but Squares now has too many words. No, I agree. I think what it is, it's a lot of the words are easy, but the problem is, like, I think it took me like an hour to get through everything today, and that's too long. Like, it took a long time for me to find everything. And like, very occasionally I do use the hints. Like, sometimes it's just because I don't want to spend too long thinking about the puzzle, and it's really difficult sometimes to just find that one word you're missing. So I do sometimes use the clues just to work out what I should be looking for. Like, I think of all things, like, I missed the word toast. That took me ages to find. There are a few that took me a while to find, but like sometimes it can feel like there are so many words that you don't remember how many words you've gotten so far. Yeah, Squaredle's good. I think it's because the shape of the puzzle can be quite different as well. What makes squares hard is that you have to kind of see all the words, and you only get 3 guesses. So unless you save your guesses right for the end, you're probably going to be in a bit of doo-doo. And it's also very difficult to know what words you should be guessing. But like, it probably makes you feel better that I'm struggling as well with just the sheer volume of words. And like, it is a struggle as well for me. So you aren't the only one. Like, it's just that there's too many words. Yeah, I completely understand that. Yeah, I do feel like it is too many words. Like, it was only when I looked at the... I think someone's barbecuing outside. I can smell a barbecue. I woke up to get me a cold pop, and I thought someone was barbecuing. To be honest, I don't really know what a barbecue smells like, but I imagine it smells like burnt, which is kind of what it smells like at the moment. I think as well with the squares puzzle, it's not something you want to spend hours and hours and hours doing. Like, you just want to be able to enjoy the puzzle as is. And I think you know, for it to take someone who literally, you know, looks at words very frequently for fun, for it to literally take them like an hour and to get stuck on it as well, it's quite awkward, isn't it? Yeah, I like, usually I do it every morning while sitting on the toilet while I'm waiting for my body to decide to finish what it was doing on the toilet. But it's like, you know, I do this before work every morning. You know, I can't spend, you know, an hour on the toilet in the morning looking at a word puzzle. And like, I do get that it's harder, but you know, that the ones later in the week are supposed to be harder. But like, I think at this point it's like ordinary people who don't understand the difference between it being hard because it's a long puzzle and hard because it's actually hard. And I think that's the difference. It's like, for a lot of people, it's very difficult to differentiate between those two things. Because like, Millennial Falcon, I don't know if you've watched any Lingo, the game show Lingo. Yeah, it's just longer, not harder, yeah, and that's not always fun. But yeah, there's a game show in the UK called Lingo. It's basically just Wordle, but a TV show. That's basically the premise of Lingo. It's just a Wordle game show. And I spend a lot of my time criticising the contestants because they're like... Because if I didn't criticise them, like, that would be weird. But, like, it's awkward because, you know, it's clear that they know how to play Wordle. But, like, some of them are just really, really, really bad at thinking about basic logic in a puzzle. And it's like, oh, you know, I'm gonna guess this word because I've run out of time. Like, I've said to my parents, it's like, well, if we went on the show, wouldn't we just have a planned answer for literally every possible Wordle option? You know, if it was a 4-letter word beginning with Q, you would go for like quip or quiz. You know, if it's a 5-letter word beginning with M, maybe you go for the word manic, and you've got set answers. And at the end of the day, the best way of doing it is to solve it. And it doesn't matter if you do it in the most or the fewest turns, you just want to solve it. So it's about having those choices. A cheese hat? Hi, Simply Awful, look at that bum. That's a big bum. But it's like, it's really awkward kind of watching them guess. Like, they've got the word gate and they've got the A and the E in the right place or whatever. And then they go for like, they'll go for late, and then you'll just look at them and you're just like, but the answer clearly isn't late, and that word choice doesn't help you at all, so why have you gone for the word late? And then you've also got it where like some of them are just like there was an episode we watched the other day, and it was like, oh yeah, this person really likes their word puzzles. It's like, oh, so they might be good at this. But all that happened was they get like 10 seconds to choose the word that they want to declare for the round or something like that. And she was really good at she loved word puzzles, but she was guessing everything within about half a second of the previous option showing her if it was correct or not. And it was just like, she's supposed to be good at words, but she's making the same mistakes that everyone else is because she's being impatient and she's not stopping and thinking about the word options. And like, it is very frustrating But like, I completely understand what it's like to do something on TV under time pressure. But that's what, like, the thing that makes the biggest difference is actually having training your brain to think of a prepared response when you know that you're going to be struggling. So like, one of the things that I did on Countdown was I said to myself, you know, if I'm in this situation where I'm like, you know, I'm like 15 seconds through a round and I don't have anything written down, I will write down this or this or this. Or like, whenever I did the numbers, I was basically like, okay, if I'm halfway through the round and I haven't found the answer yet, I need to write down the closest solution to the answer that I have. And once I do that, then whatever time I have left, I will spend looking for the answer. Yeah, but it's the same with anything. It's like, if you go in prepared, you will actually find that things are, in all likelihood, a lot easier. It's like a lot of people when they do numbers, like because Toby and I from my series, we've met up a couple times at Countdown events, and you know, he used to say to me he would struggle when he couldn't get the target, because he knew he could get the target, but because he didn't know what was impossible and what wasn't impossible, he would always try to solve it regardless of how hard it was. And he would get to the 30 seconds and he would just be like, I'd have to declare something random because I didn't get the answer. Whereas for me, I would go 15 seconds, whatever the closest is, go for there, and then look. So like, having that kind of thought process where you go, okay, now is the time I need to stop and I need to think about prioritizing, you know, getting points. But like, it sounds so simple, doesn't it? Because the thing is with Countdown is that you know exactly where you are in the time when the clock is going, because you hear it so often. You just pick a point in the sound of the clock that you recognize, and you just go, this is the point when I'm gonna decide to cut my losses and go for something else. And that's what I did. But I guess it's different when you are on the spectrum, because I can automatically think about all of those things at the same time. I can think about, do I have any Countdown events coming up? Not until August. But I did really, really well at the last Countdown event I went to. I actually, it wasn't, so it wasn't like super well attended by all the really, really good players, but it was attended by enough good players that I think by default I ended up being one of the better players there. But I was by no means the best player there by a long shot. But like, I almost, for the first time like ever at a Countdown event, managed to actually qualify for like their version of a final. So I think I won like 5 out of 7 maybe. I can't remember. I try not to think about how I do. Because if I start thinking about how I do, then I start thinking about, then I start getting really stressed over it. But it was like, I only lost that last game by the crucial conundrum, which I suck at anyway, because the thing is, I do better on conundrums that take most people a couple of seconds to see than I do on conundrums that split seconds solve. So I do a lot better on stuff that takes a bit longer, and it was just unfortunate that that conundrum was a little bit too easy and it didn't really play into my strengths. But that was fine, because it's like I wouldn't have made it to the final anyway because my total score was BS, which it always is at countdown events, because I'm not super great at scoring tons of points anyway. I'm much more of a tactical player than I am someone who's gonna absolutely boss it anyway. And that's just, you know, that's just how I play countdown. But like, that's something that because the actual series finals for countdown was on Friday as well, Millennial Falcon. So if you want, you can put it on repeat and give it a go. And it's quite a weak series in comparison to what we're probably used to. Like the number 1 seed only scored 800 points across the across their 8 games. They only got 800 points, which 800 points is nothing to sniff at. But it's quite weak in comparison to what we've seen in other series. That's probably the better way of describing it. Like, it's just a little bit weaker than what we're used to seeing, which again is not a bad thing. But it means that you're not necessarily going to have the most exciting of games. I mean, it was exciting, I'll tell you that. It was exciting. Like, because it was close, and it was the first time, I think, in quite a while that the finals had actually been, you know, a bit more nip and tuck. Like, it didn't go to a crucial conundrum, but the guy who won, he won on, I mean, of course it was a guy that won. Women don't win. But he won on the last numbers, essentially, because he solved it and the other guy didn't. Which was weird. Yeah. Yeah, what you really don't want is your series final to be a blowout. But it was actually, there weren't too many complicated words either in the series final. But there were, like, when me and my dad recap the final, I like to kind of talk about the tactics that the contestants should be doing while in the final. So it was so like in the penultimate letters round, or no, in the final letters round. Do you mind if I spoil it, Millennial Falcon, or you'd prefer to watch it, or you don't care? Go for it. So basically, in the last letters round, so this is round 13, the lowest seed, the number 3 seed, he got to the final. The lowest seed, he went for an 8-letter word, and I looked at Dad like, huh? And he's like, oh, he went for this word, and I was like, but that's not a word. And then, like, afterwards, when I was counting up how many points I got, I then said to him, oh, I know why he went for that word now. And he went for that word because he actually didn't have another word he could go for. So basically, when you're on countdown, you alternate who declares based on who picks the round. So the person who picks the letters declares first. The person who didn't pick the letters goes second. And in that way you can oh my god, this is awkward because I do have a 1 but it isn't. So basically the number 1 seed declared 7, and then the other guy was like, what he probably didn't have was a 7, and it turned out there were only 2 7s, and one of which I miss a lot when I play. So I was very fortunate and I saw the 7 this time around. One of which you have to learn to remember because it comes up all the time and you forget it, and the other one is just a really common word but it's very difficult to see. And he probably didn't have the 7, so he went for an 8, and I said, why would you go for that 8? It's just not, it would never be a word. And then afterwards I realised, oh, he probably went for the 8 because he didn't have the 7, and he didn't really have a choice because if you don't have the 7 you're going to lose the round anyway, so you go for the 8, and that's the correct way of playing. So like you should declare not just based on the scores between you and your opponents, but also you should consider what the repercussions would be of not declaring a certain word or declaring a certain word. Which is, and you've got to think about all of that in the split second when you are declaring your word. And I feel like that's probably one of my strengths, in that I can actually process all of that information very, very quickly, and that everyone else who would be there processing that information just wouldn't be able to process it like I could. So it's like, so in like one of the quarterfinals, I think, or the semi-finals, there was an option of a 9, and I said to Dad, this word isn't a word. Yeah, it does depend a lot on experience too. It's like you have to remember that I spent a huge portion of my childhood playing competitive Scrabble. And in competitive Scrabble you have 25 minutes aside to think about the moves that you want to do. And I was actually one of those players who actually thought very, very quickly. So I could play a full game in... I could usually do... there were times when I would do a full game in 10 minutes when I was a lot younger. When I was like in my early teens, I would do a full game in about 10 minutes on my side. And then as I got older, it was like, well, you know what, I'm actually going to take my time. And there are moments where you do want to take your time, and you're just sitting there and you're just like, yeah, I'm just going to sit here until I find something that I prefer to do over this one thing I found, knowing that you have the time to think about that stuff. And then there are times where you go, you know what, actually, I don't want to think about this anymore. I don't want to do that. So I just didn't. But again, I've got loads of experience thinking about strategic choices. And there were, when my countdown quarterfinal aired, there were actually quite a few, we call them aptorites because that's where they kind of, they go on a specific program that helps them study. Now, I don't do this because I don't learn that way, so I'm not technically an aptorite, but there was a bunch of aptorites after my quarterfinal who were like, there was one round where there was a really, really obvious 6 that everyone found, and I declared 7 and was probably the only person who declared 7 for that round. And some of the aptorites were like, Jess, did you deliberately brick that selection because you knew you had the best word in it? And I was like, well, actually, it took me like 15 seconds to find that best word. Yeah. But it really did. Like, it genuinely took me like half the round to find the best word. But also, I did deliberately brick the selection. And I guess I need to explain what bricking a selection means, don't I? Because I'm guessing that you guys won't really understand what that means. It's self-explanatory. It should be paradoxical, but, you know, Twitch chat, not the smartest bananas in the bunch, or whatever they like to call themselves. And yeah, I mean, the word brick is used in multiple gamer settings, so it should be self-explanatory, but that doesn't mean it is. So yeah, I basically bricked one of my rounds that I ended up declaring the only 7, and my dad was in the green room watching with all the other quarterfinalists and their families and stuff. And as soon as I said 7, apparently everyone was like, she's got a 7? And then my dad was just like, no, she has the 7. It's not a word actually anymore in Countdown. It came out the dictionary, which is kind of quite sad. But when I explain to people, I actually deliberately brick the selection, and in Countdown you brick the selection by most of the time deliberately not going for an E. So, like, if you think about the English language, the 2 most common letters in English are E and S. And if you ever get asked to think about words without E's or S's in, you really, really struggle. And I bricked that selection to not have an E in it. Everyone else might have gone for an E, but I bricked it to not have an E. And, you know, everyone else was stuck on that the 6, the really obvious 6, which ended up being the word famous. And I was the only one who got the 7, which is no longer a word. But it's the importance of understanding that bricking that selection was also the best way to win. Because it's not always about getting a 9-letter word. It's about making sure that your opponent doesn't get a 9-letter word. Gadsby? No, it was Maduro's. Maduros, which is not a word anymore. Go figure. But talking about the book. Oh, time to study that novel with no E's in it. Oh, that's what you were that's what you were talking about. Okay. I'm also doing a pie cross while talking to you guys about strategy, so you'll have to forgive me. Gassy is the novel. I'd be worried, Millennial Falcon. I don't want anybody farting in my novels. But no, this is what I'm trying to study, like, right now as well, because I'm still doing countdown study, because I'm actually really, really enjoying it. And I fully, like, every time I speak to some of the countdowners about, Champion of Champions, so after every, like, 6 or 7 series, so every kind of, every like 3 or 4 years they do a Champion of Champions series, and they will invite the best players back from series past to compete, and typically the invite goes out to the people who got to the finals, and then they have a couple of wildcard entries based on how other people did, and people say no as well, and things like that. So and like a lot of the Aptorites that I speak to, a lot of the countdown players I speak to about it, and I go, well, I was still studying because I'm like hopeful that I'll get invited back for Champion of Champions, and they're basically like, Jess, you're going to be invited back for Champion of Champions, because they can't not invite you back after showing that you had this amazing game, like literally the best game of the series, with this guy that everyone would have thought was completely unbeatable, and you basically took him right to the conundrum and you almost beat him. And they're like, they're not gonna not have you back. Do I still watch Aura? I can't watch Aura because he really triggers, his streams really trigger my sensory processing disorder. That's the one that I have, obviously. So I can't actually watch Aura unless I watch on silence, which is not that fun. Yeah, they're really triggering when you've got why is it only the bottom? I want the leaves to change colour. Why is it just the bottom that changes colour? But yeah, so we call all the quarters, the finals, the semis, they all count as the series finals for Countdown, and there's been a couple of times where there's been a couple of like potential 9s that have come up in some of the selections, and me and Dad have spoken about whether the contestants should have declared the 9s or not, and obviously it's all based on them actually having seen the 9s in the first place. But there's been quite a few scenarios where if you saw the 9, you should have actually declared it, because either they were too far behind or they were declaring first, and going 8 points behind is more desirable than going 18 points behind. So it was about like considering, like, okay, I'm declaring first, I've seen a potential 9, but do I declare it because I don't know if it's a word or not? Have fun, Kate Sith. I mean, my sensory processing doesn't make me go into shock. It makes me experience significant immediate discomfort. Which is... It's not shock, it's just significant discomfort to the point where my brain is like, run away, run away, run away. And... Yeah, Costco... Yeah, it makes me shut down, and it makes me shut down very, very quickly if it's kind of a very significant disruptive noise. So not every noise will do that to me, but there are certain kinds of noises that make me basically feel pain. Yeah, I do go into flight mode a lot with mine. And I might try explaining that to people. Yo, a cheese! Look at all those cheeses. Oh, that's an ugly cheese. That's like a red Leicester cheese. And that's like, oh my god, that's like blinding cheese. Yeah, so there were a couple of 9s that when I explained to Dad whether I would go for them or not. Like, a lot of the time we go, well, would you give me the points for seeing the word based on... Because a lot of the times my declarations, they're not just based on what I've seen, they're based on what my opponent declares. So, like, if my opponent has declared a 7 and I know that I've got a 7 that I know is a word and I've got a risky 8, depending on how I feel about the 8, I may not declare the 7, I may just choose to declare the 8. But if my opponent declares if my opponent declares 6 and I know that I've got a very safe 7 or a risky 8, then I will go for the very safe 7 because it's a very safe option. Yeah, you play to win. But I think a lot of people also forget that, but they're also unable to think that fast. So I feel like a lot of people are not thinking about, when they go on the show, that people aren't thinking about how they win. They're thinking about what their word is that they want to declare. Which is fine. You don't have to think about Countdown the way that I think about Countdown. But it's like, so I was playing, so one of my Countdown friends actually comes into this chat from time to time. He's probably lurking now, of all things. He does occasionally pop in, and we actually played a game of Scrabble while we were at the Countdown in London event, whenever that was. It was a little bit ago. And actually I did unusually well. Let's put it this way. My ability to win at Scrabble in a game that I haven't actually played in a significant period of time, I did I played like a complete beast. Let's put it like that. But like, I was talking with some of the other countdowners about how I play Scrabble, and I used to say to them that you know, oh, people don't like the way that I play because it's too closed, it's too controlling, and it doesn't let them play how they want to play. And every single one of them was like, but that's a completely valid strategy for how to play a game of Scrabble. Like, why are they upset that they can't play what's put in front of them? And that's the thing, like, a lot of Scrabble players, actually, they want to play their way and they don't want to play your way. And because everyone in essence plays the same way, then there is only one right way to play because everyone else is playing that way. And because I choose not to play that way, I'm not playing in a way that's fun, apparently. Yeah, the ability to adapt is what makes the player good. That's exactly how it works. But also, one of the things that made me incredibly difficult to play, and it still makes me difficult to play as a countdowner, is that you don't know what words I know. So like, so in reality, you can pretty much know by looking at a word whether a person or your fellow player knows that word or not. So you should know by just looking roughly whether a person of a certain ability knows a word or doesn't know a word. With me, they couldn't do that because my vocabulary was absolutely all over the place. So I didn't know words that I was supposed to know, but I also knew words that I wasn't supposed to know. And it made me very, very difficult to play because I knew a lot of things that you basically had to assume that I kind of knew everything, even though you knew that I didn't. Yeah, stalling isn't fun, but it's a perfectly valid way to play. And I also find that the thing is with stall tactics is that they are designed to make your opponent angry. And an angry opponent doesn't think straight. And when your opponent doesn't think straight, you actually make them make mistakes more than they should. So by forcing your opponent into mistakes, you're more likely to win. And that was the basis behind my kind of strategy, where my opponents would be forced into mistakes. Because they would get so angry that they wouldn't be thinking straight. And I don't think people ever realised that that was my strategy. My strategy was to basically indirectly upset them, and that's how you win. Yeah, I'm the same paradox. I mean, so yesterday I was doing a bit of countdown study, and I was looking at all the words that contain the letters Baron and an I. Baron and an I. And I go up to 9s because I also need to learn a bunch of 9s and it will give me the confidence. And actually, in one of the quarterfinals, one of the 9s that I have studied a while ago showed up, and I was like, my dad said I got it at like 29.5 seconds. And I spent the whole time going, I know this fucking word. What is this fucking word? And then I eventually got it.
Yeah, that gap, which was 3 seconds coming out of the pit, was now 4.
But yeah, I got there in the end, and it was on one of my lists. And one of the word that came up the other day is Jaborandi. 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 And you're probably going, why the fuck would you learn a word like Jaborandi by choice? One, it's memorable. I don't know if you know this, but it's a pretty memorable word when it looks stupid. And the word being fun to learn makes it more memorable, which means I am more likely to remember that word. It's not about it being useful, it's about me remembering the word that I want to learn. But also there is every chance that that word will come up. Oh yeah, I'm like 100% sure that actually happened when people would play Nigel. Because it was like, everyone knew that Nigel knew all the words. And everyone knew that he would never play a phony. Yeah, and that was exactly the tactic. Too scared to challenge because the word was always going to be a word. Yeah, but the thing is, it could be strategically beneficial to play phonies. Obviously that trick doesn't work in Countdown because every word gets checked in Countdown. But you know, it's the strategy that makes the game fun and enjoyable. And like, I'd love to see more people on Countdown be able to strategically you know, make decisions that have a positive impact on the game. But the thing is with Countdown is, oh my god, it's a cookie plate. Chat, look at those cookies. But the thing is with Countdown, a lot of people that you talk to don't seem to realise that in every single letter selection, you only actually get to pick 2 letters. And then when they sit down and they realise that, they're like, oh crap, you do only get to pick 2 letters in a letter selection. And it blows their mind. And it's so weird, because you'd think that they would notice that they only ever got to pick 2 letters. Am I going to have to explain this to chat? But basically in Countdown you are supposed to only have a minimum of 3 vowels and a maximum of 5 vowels. That's probably very true, Kevin. Also, my Stilton, the one here, is a bit of an idiot. And also, apparently, his ID card at the start of the game says he's a feral sausage. Which is exactly what you want from your rodents. You want them to be feral sausages. Also, hi Kevin. You have a feral sausage? Oh no. But we are talking tactics because we're talking tactics while I do Picross. Most people probably have to think about the Picross when they do them. Not me. 30 to 50 feral sausages. Because so yeah, the Countdown series final actually happened on Friday, and I was very, very fortunate that I actually I won all of the episodes when we versus, because so when I do a Countdown recap, I basically score the rounds versus both contestants rather than versus just one of them. So I actually won almost all of them against both contestants. And then against only one of the contestants, I actually won all of them. Even the final, like, I won quite comfortably, but for some reason neither of the finalists solved the conundrum, which was an incredibly basic word. But I mean, by that point it's over, so you don't really need to think about the word at that point. So I can't really blame them, because I'm pretty sure I would have just cried rather than actually solved anything. But oh, have fun, Millennial Falcon. Go enjoy working out, I guess. I can't believe chat's abandoning me on this incredibly hot day to do exercise. Exactly, Millennial Falcon. You're choosing to do that over watching me. Therefore, it must be more enjoyable. I think Stilton just sneezed. I also can't chat about missing things on Countdown because I did the same thing when I recorded my episodes. Rip me. But I don't think it would get any easier the next time I go on, if they let me back on. Because, oh, it's definitely like that. No, it's actually a lot hotter, Kevin. It's actually more like 30. But it's the humidity that's actually killing everyone at the moment. it's really kind of, it's not dry heat, it's wet heat, and the wet heat is what makes being in the UK quite difficult. Like even when it rains, like the pressure drops, and when it rains it actually gives me a lot of headaches. So I can't even, you know. Yeah, it's been easily 30. Yo, look at my Titan. Look at this Titan Pokemon. Yeah. Yeah, whereas like, so it's different when you're at the seaside because you get wind. But we don't have a lot of wind in the city, and we have a lot of concrete. So unfortunately we've got a lack of wind and a lot of concrete, which you can imagine doesn't really bode well. Yeah. Yeah, you kind of forget not everywhere in Australia is a beach. Well, I don't know how much is going on in the Grand Prix, but Tsunoda is somehow still last. Next to a creek as well, yeah. The perils of living next to a bridge. I could never understand how people live in places like Death Valley and like not experience like constant heat stroke or actually like can do work. But I suppose that's why you guys like have built-in aircon. Like the places where you live like wouldn't exist without aircon. Deserts are nasty. Yeah. I also knew that was there before I even checked. Which, why did I cross that? I don't know why I crossed that. Quiz plays Temetsi. What's Temetsi? Sudoku Minesweeper. Oh, I would never survive with that. I would accidentally blow everything up and then just go, oh, I didn't mean to click that square, it's fine. That would be me. It's like, oh no, I didn't mean to blow anything up. It's fine. Yeah, that's the difference, Kevin. Like a lot of places in the UK our buildings are designed to keep heat in because it's colder So because our buildings are not designed to let heat out, it's like 26 degrees in here even with the window open. And I know that because I got my thermometer. My thermometer actually says it's like 28 degrees in here. My work thermometer, I should specify that I don't run around with a thermometer all the time. Apart from when I work, obviously. Because I have one for my job. I mean, I can show you my thermometer, it's just in my bag, but I checked it the other day and it was like, it said it was like 26.1 in here. And I was like, yeah, no wonder I feel hot. And like, no wonder, like, I've been struggling to work in my bedroom as well, because I've been getting a lot of headaches. And usually I get headaches because I'm not getting enough air turnover. But actually it's just because it's been really, really hot that like COVID fucked up my ability to thermoregulate. So like I feel like I can still wear hoodies in like 20 degrees. Not because I'm cold, but because I don't feel that it's hot. So I've kind of, I've kind of lost that ability to thermoregulate, which can't be helpful. Yeah, probably that. But also, like, your body gets used to certain environments as well. So, if you live in the same environment all your life, your body develops its own ways of dealing with everything. Whereas in the UK we have quite a variable climate all the time. So it's very hard for our bodies to regulate themselves. Because our bodies are kind of like, well, hang on, it was cold here the other day, why is it hot now? And it's our bodies get very confused as to what we should actually be doing. Yeah, and then we'll just complain it's cold again. I don't think the Thames will freeze over for a very long time. Oh look, apparently the race is almost over. Yeah, I can see that, Kevin. But I used to be able to tell, and I just used to be cold like all the time. But since the first time I caught COVID, I've not been able to feel any of that. Which is quite awkward. Oh, ding dong chat. Ding dong. Oh no, this is a problem. What? We'll work this out in a minute. Here's the problem. Silly Kevin. Hi Tama, how's it going? But I wasn't doing so much Picross. I think we'd end up doing like numbers or something. Like we'd probably do some like countdown practice. You mean like me, Kevin? Because most of what I say is true. Because everyone says that. And I'm like, of course I'm not pretty. That's why I hang out at home a lot. And I don't care to go anywhere. Kevin making me reconsider all this bullshit. Wait, what? I have no idea where this conversation was going, but I still don't know what I said like 5 seconds ago. And that's just how it goes. Hang on. No, Kevin, people tell me I am pretty, and then I don't believe them. Also, chat, I have a bubble tea. Happily. No, like, people tell me I am, and then I tell them I don't believe them. Look, it's so green. Look at those rainbow cookies. doing all right at this today. I wonder how he's eating through his doodad. His vicar's collar. Yo, it's a floor. It's a floor. This is going too fast that I can't even think about what words I want to say, chat. What are we doing? Probably there and 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 there. Look at how cute that is, chat. Yay, nibble, nibble, nibble. Three, 8, 12. There. 3 cross 11. Well, how did this get here? Perfect. I'm just gonna keep saying the word chat. I wanted to undo that because I knew I messed up. But only because I got excited at colouring in all those squares. Exactly, Kevin. Exactly, Kevin, that's my problem. That bed does not look comfortable. What, the bed I'm sitting on, or like the bedding floor? Because I think you're a little bit behind, but I haven't dropped any frames, but I think you are lagging a bit. The bed I got on the last Picross. Oh, the Sputnik one. Yeah, that one doesn't look very comfortable. Whoa! This is only book one, remember, chat. So Kevin, since you're here, I will give you a choice. We have 10 pages left of book one. Should I finish all the basic puzzles, or should I keep doing as I'm doing and splitting between the basic and the challenge puzzles? You don't want responsibility? dog bed? Like, why is it paw print shaped? Oh, chat, it's a wooden wheel. I wonder what this one looks like. Rats have paws? Yeah, but do they have paw prints? Also, I would have thought they had feetsies. Because that's exactly how to describe feet. Which describes them as feetsies. Hi, Bracky. Pet the Bracky. How's it going, Bracky? We do be doing some pie crossing today. We've also been talking like countdown tactics and boring stuff. Boring nerdy stuff. But some of my chat like boring nerdy stuff. Also, the magic bubble tea fairy went out and got me a bubble tea. And that's basically my mother. I also think I got her addicted to bubble tea. So she was just like, I want a bubble tea. You're suffering from preparing a presentation. I mean, that's worse than just having to prepare a presentation. You're suffering from it. Why is it so jiggly? Noisy silence. Yeah, I suffer from all my presentations too. Which makes me glad that I don't have to do any anymore. Is there any way we can help, Bracky? You would have ignored it and taken a bad grade if it wasn't a group project. Not gonna lie, I hated group projects, but only because I would be forced to work with people who didn't have the same work ethic as me. But it's like, now that I have a diagnosis, I could just go, well, I don't want to work in a group because that fucks up my ASD. And I'd prefer to work alone. Because I find that like my biggest issue with group projects, it wasn't about working in a group, it was about having people who worked the same way. But sometimes when you have ideas, like, it's, especially on the spectrum, it's very difficult to verbalize that idea in a way that people understand. And that's something like personally, I think my manager's only starting to get. And like, it's very difficult when you're on the spectrum to verbalize things that are difficult. Like, I find it's like being able to say to him, like, I'm struggling, I want help. But it's also like, I don't have the words to always verbalize that's what I need. Like, so we spoke on Thursday about, like, how frustrating I'm finding, like, the new starters. Well, they're not new starters anymore, but they're like... It's more like that they're not taking ownership of the equipment when I'm not around. So like, you know, a bit of equipment broke while I was on leave, and it took until I came back from leave to deal with it. And he was like, well, maybe they just need explicit instructions. And it's like, but why? But it's also taken a very long time for me to get to a point where I'm comfortable with it. And it wasn't me saying that, like, oh, I didn't like their help, it was useless. It was me trying to find a way of saying, it's not that I don't appreciate the help, I just am finding it a bit frustrating because it feels like I've gone back to doing all the work again. You need to get your bratwurst from the oven? And you're not sharing with us, Bracky? What the duck? This guy making bratwurst and leaving the rest of us bratwurstless. This is where Bracky will tell me that I have butchered German. He'll go, what is bratwurstless? You made 6. There's plenty. But there's 6 in Germany, Bracky. Where's the 6 in the UK that I need to nibble on? I wish I could read what all of this said. Yum. Wow, this is a very easy puzzle. Like, I'm only just noticing, like, how many of these rows are just... like, they just go to full completion. Where's my mods at? Crazy needs banning. That's the scream I wish Crazy would make when he gets banned. Ha 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 ha. That's the sound Crazy should make when he gets banned. The best part of this stream is watching Crazy get got. Crazy hasn't said anything in a while. He must be plotting revenge. You forgot to turn the heat on of the oven? So you mean we have to now wait for our bratwursts? Oh no. I can't believe the bratwursts have been sitting in a cold oven. Now we're gonna have to be patient. Yo, this is better. Not paw print shaped. Don't worry, I have to wait too. No, Bracky! But you know what some of us would say in response to that, Bracky? Sounds like the worst. I said it. I said it, chat. I said it. Obviously you crazy, you would say it. Oh look, someone made a mistake. There we go. Fixed. Who did that? Probably crazy. No, it's crazy. He's got some poop on his head. Cute. Look, he was bald, but now he's got poop on his head. How easy this one is. It's great fun. And there. That was fun. Look, it's a slapstick. Right, chat? There and there. Oh. Look at that big knot, chat. I knew you'd like it, Kevin. Am I winning yet, chat? Am I winning, chat? at this cereal chat. Help Squeaky the rat find the missing yogi. Wait, a what? A yogi? Chat, what's a yogi? Just trying to be smart. I just couldn't be bothered to try and work out the logic. Just like, let's fill in some random squares, chat. A plastic wheel. serious glasses. Yo, we do like some serious glasses. Any serious glasses havers in chat? You've never worn glasses in your life? Noted. Yo, look at these serious glasses. So serious. Try it on. Nah. Doesn't fit with the whole vibe of Stilton. A water bottle? Hi, physics. How's it going? Thab sleep, thab rigged. Same. Yo, chat, look at this water bottle. Yo, chat, look at this cute boy. That's the word everyone makes fun of. Wait, what? Why is water bottle so funny? Water bottle? Yeah. That's how it's supposed to be said. Water bottle. How dare chat make fun of my accent? Yeah, well, how do you say it, crazy? We all know nobody understands the Scottish at the best of times. Look at crazy, he's lying. It's because he knows if Bracky heard him in real life, Bracky would have no idea what he was saying. Well, Kevin, you do realise that the English don't teach their kids to speak because we don't know how to grammar. So you know when we say could've and should've, because it's when we say the word we say could've, should've, but English people are too dumb to realise that it's could have, should have. Who are you calling antique? You're a teak. Indian accent's the most... See, Crazy doesn't know the difference between replicable and replicatable. Crazy, the word is replicable. No, it's replicable. The word is replicable. Exactly, Kevin. Can't have maths being bad at grammar in my chat. But it's niff niff comfort. Oh, we've apparently done 200 puzzles. And we've unlocked this dudette. Got a tissue box for when Crazy needs to cry. That's not what it means, Crazy. Who do I trust more? Obviously me. Think I trust you at all? My bad trust picking abilities? I think I'm doing alright considering I don't trust you. So I must be doing something right. Crazy is clearly very repudiable. More like repugnant. You're not stinky. My nose begs to differ. Of course I could trust him, he's crazy. It's kind of the point, Kevin. How did I miss that? Who even needs to fill in the squares? Yo, look at these serious glasses. Serious in every shade of shades. Why do you pronounce the G in repugnable, but not in repugn? Wait, repugnable? I guess there's a difference between Like, I guess repugnable is to do with being repugnant, and repugn means something else. Also, because English is a weird language. Yeah, I'm like 90% sure that it's based on... No, I didn't. I said repugn. Crazy making it sound like I said words I didn't said. Which means it's the bannable offence again for Crazy. My mod's having a field day with him. Crazy got wrecked. Exactly, Kevin. There's nothing wrong with trees. Unless, I guess, they have ash dieback, in which case there's something wrong with trees. I ran out of bubbles. All the bubbles in my bubble tea have gone. Now it's just tea. That's not even a bubble tea anymore because it's lost all the bubbles. What happened to the bubbles? Exactly, Kevin. It's not a bubble tea anymore without the bubbles. It's just green. You drank with the incorrect ratio. Oh no, I got ratioed by bubble tea. Oh, and by the way, ratio is no longer a verb in Countdown. How would you spell it? In the same way you usually spell the word ratio, but with the ed and the ing on the end. Ratioing, yes. That's the one, physics. shriek turned into this cute bow. Tissue box time. Oh god, I'm stuck. What am I doing? Chat, look at that tissue box. It's so tissue boxy. Numero 18, chat. A cone? A cheese napkin. Back to the easy puzzles again, chat. Oh no, did I say easy? I meant incredibly difficult. Oh, this is a 4, that's why it's not lining up properly. This is supposed to be easier than this. Squeal! Yo, chat, it's a table. No, it's a stool. That's a bit big to be a stool. I mean, who's got a butt that wide? Any wide butts in chat? I mean, I can't see that on my end, but I'm hoping it looks better than the two things that are in chat, Kevin. Mostly because I have everything disabled on my Twitch end. Yay, sensory problems. Is that too wide? Too wide, chat! Chat, why do kids have to squeal and scream every time something happens? Yo, chat, it's a ball. Without any cheese in it. Now, let me close my window so that I don't have to hear kids. I'd love to have my bedroom window open, chat, without the sound of shrieking humans who will grow out of it in 15 years. Okay, where's the solve coming from now? Can't be there definitively. Now it's there definitively. Woo! Look, it's a neckerchief. Or a cheese napkin. I'd love to get to page 20 by the end of the day, but I don't think that will quite work. did I miss that bit? Woo! Look, chat, it's a lamp. Look at that cute sticker. It's got whipped cream for ears. I don't want whipped cream for ears because I think my ears would fall off in this weather. That was easy. I wonder how they're going to make this one more difficult. 1 minute 8 for a 15 by 15. Why did I just delete the stuff that I put in? Oh, what have I messed up? This one. We did it! A 25 by 20, huh? I think we might just finish this page and then we'll be done. Oh, a big fat cross line. I never understand, like, it's clear that the devs are doing smaller puzzles, so they don't need an edge that is just nothing. Like, they're doing, like, it's clear that they're doing puzzles that are non-standard, so why do we need to, like, why do we need to have a row at the end that is just a nothing row? well, something went wrong here. What went wrong here? Probably that. For one, I'm playing QwizicalQwak. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that I can't work out where my mistakes are. Mistake number 1, playing QwizicalQwak. Hey, I could do QwizicalQwak speedrun. But I imagine QwizicalQwak speedrun would just involve not like having all the answers up and then just going row by row by row, like, oh yeah, I'll just do this, and then referring to your answers and then going again, which would honestly be a bit of a crap speedrun. Whoa, look at how big this is. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There we go. Yeah, I think a legitimate speedrun would be like where you could just obviously tell that I'm not referring to anything else. Like there's no reference material anywhere. But that's because I also have some understanding of more advanced Picross logic. So I'm able to solve things as part of this puzzle because I understand some of the more complicated logic. So like these are designed to be kind of beginner Picross puzzles. Which is why some of the weirder logic like works a bit easier. You know, physics, I do also say if anyone wants me to explain some of the logic, they have to say so. But I'm not sure that that there's enough logic to like, I'm not sure there's I would remember what I did to trigger the logic question in the first place. Yo, multicolored cheese napkin. And more stickers. One more sticker. Oh, it only took 4 minutes. Oh, hang on. Chat, these two took me the same length of time. Down to the minute. Then the second. Look, 4:28. I wonder if I can solve this one in 4 minutes 28 as well. I don't think that was 4:28, but I've got no idea. No, chat, I was too quick by 41 seconds. Oh no, I knew that. I knew that, Millennial Falcon. I knew that when I told you. Like it was like I had my tablet going, so I already knew that had happened. I think that one was quick after all, chat. 1 minute 24. Was that actually quicker than the other one? So this one was 1 minute 24. Nope, we were a tiny little bit slow. Okay, I think last puzzle for the day, chat. Mostly so that I could take a break. What, no break? I mean, until next weekend. No break for me. Your girl gotta make sure she's still got a brain left. I knew that. Whee! We've unlocked a lot of things today, chat. We are up to page 18. Well, finished page 18. We got page 19 to go. We've already done these cheese crumbs. So we have 82 puzzles of book 1 left to go. There's a book 2. Damn right there is physics. And look, there's even enough space for a book 3. Yeah, I think the devs are trying to work out like how hard they want to make it as well, because I think like I know that they've said there are some people who find it really easy, but they're playing with all the hints on. So they wanted to make it accessible for people who haven't enjoyed Picross because it's so hard for them. And yet for me, like, you know, yes, I'm completing some of the puzzles super quickly, but they do have a bit of a challenge. So like we're trying to encourage them to potentially do a colour version. Colour version has slightly different logic. So we're trying to see if the devs will do a colour Picross book, or like an extra hard mode, one that doesn't involve like the main completion of the game, but like is actually a challenge. So there's that. We're trying to see. Yeah, we're trying to see how it goes. But, oh no, look at this Formula 1 meme. Oscar, let me make it bigger because I forget that you guys can't see it. Look at this Formula 1 meme. Oscar and Lando. Lando keeps running faster, but Oscar keeps tailing him. Wasn't that great? So, yeah, I'm really excited to keep playing this because it's really, really good. I'm covering it, but there's 218 out of 300 at the moment. But yeah, I think there's no one that's streaming now who I want to raid. So I think we'll just leave it there, chat, until next week. So yeah, next week I should be having quite a chill week. Catch up on all the work. And then I've got one site visit next week. And that's Monday going into the Tuesday, because I definitely need that much time. We'll see how it goes. And then I need to run back to the office on Tuesday to do an errand. And then I get some nice work from home days, unless Team Boss finds some work for me to do. Not my problem. It's not my fault I'm too good and work sites postpone, and which is absolutely fine. And then I gave them a date in the future, which is good. But yeah, you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll probably open my window again because I think all the children have stopped shrieking. But yeah, have fun, chat. Bye. Bye.